Hello, world. I am here at what is supposedly the largest comic book store in the world, Mile High Comics. This is a 45,000 square foot comic warehouse. Now, what you see behind me might be impressive only in size, but I promise when we go inside, it is going to be much cooler. This is a giant warehouse in a very industrial area in Denver, not somewhere that you would just stumble upon walking around, but the inside is way cooler than you think it is. Now, this chain of comic book stores was started by Chuck Rosansky in the 1960s. He was just 13 years old when he started selling comics, and his comic empire led to what I would call the crux of any comic career, a cameo in an Iron Man comic. Now, Chuck Rosansky, who started this comic book store, acquired a lot of his comics from the Edgar Church collection. Now, he was a collector based in Denver. He was a graphic artist who collected tons and tons of comics from the golden age, what we define as Iron Man, Superman, Batman, that age. And Chuck Rosansky acquired Edgar Church's incredible comic collection, brought it here to this warehouse. Of course, not everything is available to the public. Some of those super special comics are in the underground archives where you and I might not have access, but I am super excited. They do have paraphernalia, they have comic books, they have new age comic books, they have cosplay items, they even have anime and a couple Star Wars things as well. So I'm super excited to go inside and take a look around. I know my sister would love to get her hands on this Kitty Pryde figurine right here. All right, so the store is split into a few sections. Right here is where we are seeing most of the figurines. There are a couple that range from like under $100 to ones that are over 1,000. So you definitely get a variety of smaller, more commonplace ones, and then a couple larger ones that feel a bit more like rare collectibles.
That's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
All right, now we are in the trade paperback section. These are more recent publishings. You've got, of course, DC, Marvel. You've also got newer franchises like The Boys. So really, really a great variety here. There is truly something for everyone. I don't want people to look at this and think that they only have what's mainstream. There are tons of comics here that I have even never heard of. So an awesome, awesome collection all around. If anyone wants to study up before the new Predator movie comes out, we got to see the trailer in theaters the other day. It looks so cool. I cannot wait. I'm definitely more of an alien girly, but I will consider me sad for the new movie. All right, so while the warehouse is 45,000 square feet, a lot of it is actually dedicated to some of the archives. I mentioned earlier that they have a huge part of their collection from Edgar Church, which they purchased previously, but they also do buy, sell, and trades. So even if you can't find what you're looking for on the floor, they also have a great variety located behind the desks as well. They also have a bunch of old and new action figures, toys. I did see a Rogue Barbie doll that looked really interesting, so I may have to go and take a closer look at that later. So they have this entire section of Funko Pops here, but if this isn't enough, wait, there's more. Welcome to probably one of the largest collections of Funko Pop I have ever seen, at least. But if you are looking for one, I bet it's in here. Now, I will say most of these seem pretty popular, pretty commonplace. I have seen some collectible Funko Pops here as well. They obviously don't have them out on display like this. So if there is a particular character or a particular variant or edition that you're looking for, definitely check the website online because I am sure they probably have it or they can find it for you. All right, so they also have some cool tryout pages, which of course are extremely rare, as well as some other limited edition artwork. That was probably my favorite part about going to Denver Comic Con. Denver Comic Con, apparently, they make more money by the minute than San Diego Comic Con, which is really interesting. My favorite part was definitely seeing and meeting all of the comic book artists that were there, getting signed prints of Batman. And speaking of Batman, there is a signed Val Kilmer jacket here. Only two in existence, apparently. So if you are looking to drop $3,000, this is the place for you. And now this is their amazing Star Wars section, which while I appreciate, I don't know as much about. So I'm going to pass it over to my fiance, Jordan.
Clearly my department. I'm actually not like the craziest Star Wars nerd, but I appreciate it probably the most of all the things in here. And I hit a lot of nostalgia seeing everything. I mean, look at this. Star Wars Episode 1 was really my introduction to the series. I guess being 90s kids like some of us are, it's like that was the first one that came out as we were kids. So I was like, that's so cool. Nowadays, everyone's like, Star Wars Episode 1 sucks. I don't know. I don't really align with that. But it's cool to see some of these toys in here. $400. I'm sure this was like $15 when it came out in whatever year that was. You have lightsabers, cool helmets, fine china. I mean, those memes about when it's like, the guests are coming, get out the fine china. That's what I would pull out of the cabinet. Grogu, lightsabers, lots of action figures, popcorn bucket for the Mandalorian, which ironically was never in theaters, so that's kind of funny. But yeah, just look at this, it's like a mess of toys. And what's really cool about Star Wars, well, honestly, most of these franchises, is they span back decades and decades. And so you have toys from, you know, there's probably a lot of toys in here that are from like the 70s, and there's also toys that are from the 2010s. You have such a huge variety. Toys that are very kid friendly, and I think that's what makes them kind of ugly, but then toys that are really adult friendly. This next aisle over here has things I'm a bit more excited about, which are like more true to form ships, like this one right here, Naboo N1 Starfighter, my favorite ship probably in Star Wars. And this is an actual like die cast scale model, 1/48 scale, so that's pretty cool. X-Wings, I'm a huge Star Wars ships nerd, lightsaber, I like all of it. So this is where I've spent most of my time. But as we mentioned earlier, like no employees only beyond that point, no people, which is a huge part. Like I think actually less than half of this giant 30-something thousand square foot warehouse is accessible because they have so much stuff that they've been collecting or going through or getting in on trade and evaluating and then reselling it. Really cool. Look at that poster. I want that.
I think something too that a lot of people sometimes forget when it comes to the Star Wars franchise is like there is a whole comic world of Star Wars as well. So if you are a watcher and a reader, there are tons and tons of stories beyond just what we see on screen available for you guys to explore and adventure into.
Yeah, I mean, the first books I really think I actually read were some Star Wars books from like early 2000s. Check out this Star Wars Darth Vader life-size bust. They're asking $10,000 because they don't want to sell it, but that's freaking cool. And this one of 250 Boba Fett helmet, $3,500. If you're a nerd with pockets, you can find anything you could ever want in here. Oh my gosh, I want all of these.
All right, so of course, one of our largest sections is the craft shoe section. The those of you who aren't familiar, that issue refers to versions, publications that are no longer actively printed, at least in their original form. So tons of old comics here. We're gonna go take a look and see if we can find some of the original Fantastic Four, which I'm sure is in very high demand right now. Let's go take a look. Wow, so we've got a pretty old editions here, but also a plethora of ones from the early 2010s, 2019. Whether you're looking to get into comics for the first time, or if you are someone who has been a longtime lover of comics, this is a great place to visit, especially if you are coming from out of town, or if you're a local. They bring in new stuff every day. All right, so I made 2 purchases today, both Fantastic Four, like I was mentioning earlier. We've got volume 9 of the Ultimate Fantastic Four, which is of course where we see, not for the first time by any means, but we do get Silver Surfer in there. And then also Fantastic Four 1 variant edition. So if you're new to comics, something to note, that you'll see, of course, numbers that pertain to the sequence of a certain comic, usually in a chronological order. Now, 1, of course, Fantastic Four has been around for a long time. This one by no means that it is the first issue of Fantastic Four ever. However, there are different series, of course, different timelines, universes, different plot lines that can start at any time. And so this is the first edition of this particular Fantastic Four comic. So whether you are jumping in for the first time or you've just been a longtime fan, like, there are places that you can start. Don't be overwhelmed by issues 600, 700, or higher. There is always something that you can find to kind of start your comic journey in. All right, so this was my 3rd or 4th time here, but Jordan, my fiance's first time. So what did you think?
Overwhelming, but like in a really good way. And I can't believe how big it is. I was also shocked to see how much floor space you couldn't access because of all the space they need to like go through things and get things ready for the floor. So absolutely insane. And also the prices of some of like the comics, especially like by the front door where they show you like exclusive whatever those were, like $60,000 for a comic.
Very early edition, some of them signed. We were talking 5 figures for some of those for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are people out there who I think are pining for those for sure.
Yeah, that's true. And being like the world's biggest, I feel like they had to have some cool stuff to really deliver. Because there are people, I'm sure, that, well, people travel to Denver for vacation all the time, but like if you're passing through, like nerds will make a point to visit here.
All right, that is it for today. It was a blast showing Jordan around the store. If you are looking to spend a nice afternoon indoors on a cold or rainy day here in Denver, Colorado, this is definitely a great place to start. If you've been here before, drop in the comments what your favorite part of the store is. If you have a particular franchise or character that you're really interested in, let us know in the comments as well. Would love to know, and we will catch you guys next time.